Whoa, so I was not expecting Blizzard to post this one right here. An entirely new blog post about the Malignant Hearts that we can actually obtain in Season 1. Also, how you can craft them and create them. But check it out. All 32 hearts have been revealed. Also, per class, we get an idea of what we can actually do here. So we're going to go over this full thing together right now, starting from the beginning, getting a little bit of a backstory, what you can do with the Malignant Hearts, also with salvaging and crafting them, and also the cost of materials that are required here. Now, I'm going to throw a video guide in the description below, so if you do want to skip ahead to the information that you are seeking, go for it. But yeah, let's get straight into this right now. It says this: a heart for every type of wanderer. Now, this season introduces 32 Malignant Hearts that provide build-altering bonuses. The hearts are broken into 4 categories, each with a corresponding color, and unique keyword. We have vicious, which is going to be orange, offensive power; brutal, blue, defensive power; devious, which is going to be pink, utility power; and wrathful, which is going to be black and considered a super. Now, defeated malignant monsters will drop a heart that corresponds to the monster's color. The colors of each heart also correspond to special malignant sockets, which will replace the normal sockets of jewelry you acquire for the duration of Season of the Malignant. Now, wrathful hearts are a special case due to their rarity and can be placed into any socket. As you roam Sanctuary in search of malignant monsters to dispatch, keep an eye out for the ones that match the color of the item sockets you're looking to fill. And this is a really good overview of it right here. You can pause the screen if you want to, but let's keep going now. Creating and salvaging malignant hearts. Now, it says this: as you encounter more menacing malignant creatures, so too will the strength of their malignant hearts grow. Any heart that you don't wish to keep can be salvaged at Corman's Wagon for Ichor of a corresponding color. Now, Ichor is a resource that allows for the creation and upgrade of malignant hearts and can be harvested from lesser malignant monsters. Salvaging each vicious, brutal, and devious heart will provide you with about 5 to 15 Ichor, with wrathful hearts providing 2 to 5 Ichor of all other heart types. Creating a random heart of a specific type costs about 35 Ichor of other 2 primary colored hearts. For example, if you wanted to craft a vicious heart, you would need 35 brutal Ichor and 35 devious Ichor. In return, you would receive a random vicious heart that scales to the level of your character. The random heart you create will always be either for your specific class or class agnostic, so the more you know. And if you're wondering what the actual Corman shop looks like, it's right here. So that's what we're going to be looking for. Next up, we have Harness Their Power, Elevate Your Build. And this is where we get into all of the details about the Malignant Hearts. So let's dive into this. Now, it says each of the 32 Malignant Hearts pack a punch with the bonuses they provide to you. Wielding the very core of the rotten fused husk you've slain across Sanctuary is essential to bringing about safety. Now, below, you'll find the full list. Let's get into it right now. Now, for example, the stats you see reflect what a level 20 character would receive as a drop. As your seasonal character grows in level, so too will the power of the Malignant Hearts that drop for them. Unless specified, the heart can be acquired by playing in any world tier in the seasonal realm. All right, let's get into the general hearts here. Now, we have the Pekana, which is vicious, offensive, has critical strikes, electrically charge the enemy for 0.75 through 2.5 seconds, causing lightning to arc between them and any other charged enemies, dealing 68 to 136 lightning damage. And the Dark Dance, which is also considered vicious and offensive world tier 3. Every 5 seconds while above 60% life, core skills cost 68 through 51 life instead of your primary resource. Skill that consumes life deal 10 to 20% increased damage. That sounds like it comes with a little bit of a risk, but could be a lot of fun. Now, Tempting Fate is going to be vicious, offensive world tier 3. You gain 40 to 60% critical strike damage, but your non-critical strikes deal 20 to 15% less damage. Now, the Lionheart says it's going to be a brutal and defensive one. You gain 10% barrier generation. You heal 3 to 7 life per second while you have an active barrier. Now, Revenge is going to be a brutal defensive world tier 3 heart. A 10 to 20% of incoming damage is instead suppressed. When you use a defensive subterfuge or macabre skill, all suppressed damage is amplified by 250% and explodes, dealing up to 1360 through 2040 fire damage to nearby enemies. Ooh. Prudent Heart says brutal, it's defensive, world tier 3. You become immune for 2 to 4 seconds after you lose more than 20% life in a single hit. This effect can only occur once every 110 seconds. Determination is a devious utility heart, and it says resource draining effects are 40 to 50% less effective. In addition, gain 3 to 8% increased resource generation. Retaliation is going to be a devious utility world tier 3 heart. You deal 510 to 680 fire damage to surrounding enemies whenever a crowd control effect is removed from you. The calculated is a devious utility tier world tier 3 heart as well. After spending 150 to 200 of your primary resource, your next attack stuns enemy hit for 2 seconds. Now, the Malignant pack is a Wrathful Super. Cycle through a Malignant bonus every 20 kills. We have Vicious, gain 20% attack speed. Devious says core and basic skills have 15% chance to fully restore your primary resource. Brutal says every 21 seconds, gain a barrier absorbing 85 to 102 damage. So we have some actual options with that one right there. Interesting. Now it says Creeping Death says the following: your damage over time effects are increased by 30 to 40% for each different crowd control effect on the target. Unstoppable monsters and staggered bosses instead deal 110 to 130% increased damage from your damage over time effects. Now the Barber says it's going to be a Wrathful Super World Tier 3 heart. Critical strikes and all subsequent damage within 2 to 4 seconds is absorbed by your character. Then the absorbed damage erupts onto surrounding enemies. Stored damage is increased by 10% per second. So I got to say, some interesting stuff happening here, and I'm already trying to think of all the combinations that you could do with these hearts. I'm so curious to see what builds you guys actually craft from Season 1. Remember, by the way, I have a link in the description below where you can actually submit your new builds, your gameplay. I will give you guys full credit because, yeah, this game is going to be, it's absolutely huge, and I can't do it alone. But if you want your stuff highlighted in future videos, go ahead and submit. All right, so we have Barbarian. It says Focused Rage. It's going to be a vicious offensive heart. After spending 160 Fury within 2 seconds, your next non-basic skill's critical strike chance is increased by 20 to 30%. Now, Resurgent Life is a brutal defensive heart. While below 40 to 60% life, you receive 50 to 60% more healing from all sources. Punishing Speed is devious utility. Your skills have a 20 to 30% chance to knock down all enemies for 1.25 seconds when that skill's attack speed is higher than 35 to 20%. Also, we have Ignoring Pain, which is a Wrathful Super World Tier 4 heart. Incoming damage has a 5 to 15% chance of being ignored and instead healing you for 17 to 68. Right there. So that's actually pretty good. Now, the Druid says this: the Moon Rage, vicious offensive. Kills have a 5% chance to summon a wolf companion to your side for 20 to 36 seconds. In addition, gain +3 to wolves. The Agitated Winds is a brutal defensive heart. When 8 to 13 close enemies automatically cast Cyclone Armor, this cannot occur more than once every 10 to 20 seconds. Inexorable Force, it's going to be a devious utility heart. Up to 30 to 50 distant enemies are pulled toward you while you have an ultimate skill active. Then we have the Unconstrained Beast. It's a Wrathful Super World Tier 4 heart. When you are hit with a stun, freeze, or knockdown effect, there's a 40 to 60% chance to automatically activate Grisly Rage for 3 seconds. How you guys liking it, Druids? Necromancer says this: the Sacrilegious is a vicious offensive heart. Walking near a corpse automatically activates an equipped corpse skill every second, dealing 40 to 30% reduced damage. The Decrepit Aura says this: brutal defensive heart. Now, it's at least 5 enemies. Then we have the Decrepit Aura. It is described as a brutal defensive heart with at least 5 enemies that are near you. You gain an aura that automatically curses surrounding enemies with Decrepify for 5 to 15 seconds. Now, Frozen Terror says it is a devious utility heart with Lucky Hit activated up to a 10 to 20% chance of inflicting fear for 2.5 seconds. Feared enemies are chilled for 20% every second. The Great Beast is a Wrathful Super World Tier 4 heart. Each minion drains 1 to 2 essence per second, but deals 50 to 75% increased damage with no minions. This bonus applies to you and drains 5 essence per second. Now we have the Rogue with Cluster Munitions, a vicious offensive heart. With Lucky Hit, you have up to a 20% chance to launch 3 stun grenades that deal 26 to 32 physical damage and stun enemies for about half a second. Then we have Trickery, which is going to be described as a brutal defensive heart. When you use a subterfuge skill, leave behind an unstable shadow decoy trap that taunts enemies. The shadow decoy trap will explode after about 6 seconds, dealing 680 to 1020 shadow damage. Cannot occur more than once every 5 seconds. The clip shot is a devious utility heart. Lucky hit up to 20 to 40% chance for your cutthroat skills to slow by 40% for every 3 seconds, and your marksman skills to knock back enemies. The Vile Apothecary is a wrathful super world tier 4 heart. Your attacks have a 5 to 15% chance to apply all imbuement effects at 40 to 50% of normal potency. Then we have the Sorcerer, which is going to say this: Talrasha is a vicious offensive heart. For each unique element you deal damage with, you deal 7 to 12% increased damage for 3 to 10 seconds. Then we have Spell Breaking. It's a brutal defensive heart. It says after taking elemental damage, gain 20 to 40% resistance to that element for 5 seconds. Then we have Spite, which is a devious utility heart. When you are afflicted with a crowd control effect, there is a 20 to 40% chance that the same enemy and enemies around you also are inflicted with the same effect for 3 seconds. Omnia Power is described as this: it's a super world tier 4 wrathful heart with core skills that launch a projectile that consume all of your mana. For every 45 to 35 extra mana consumed, you launch an additional projectile, and the damage is increased 3 to 5%. We have some developers' notes here. It says, Caged Hearts cannot be traded between players because we want hearts to feel like an achievement for slaying challenging malignant monsters. However, jewelry containing malignant sockets can be traded to ensure that there are multiple sources for jewelry with malignant sockets that correspond to the Caged Hearts players have earned. So, yeah, this is definitely going to be interesting, seeing how everyone receives Malignant Hearts based on, of course, what has happened today with that July 18th patch, considering that there were so many nerfs done to practically every single aspect to the game in some way, shape, or form. There were some buffs, don't get me wrong, but when it comes to classes, a lot of nerfs, and a lot of people are very unhappy, and they definitely nerfed the hell out of Vulnerable, which a lot of people were relying on. I think that Blizzard is trying to push people into Season 1 and try out these Malignant Hearts. That's my theory. Let me know if you think I'm on point with that one or not. Now, the article does go on to talk about Malignant Tunnels, which of course, you're going to be going into these tunnels and activating these Malignant Overgrowths, which is going to be super important. Now, it does say this right here: one of the best places to acquire Malignant Hearts are in the new Malignant Tunnels. Highly replayable dungeons teeming with fearsome foes to eradicate, of course. While inside, you'll need to risk life and limb to defeat powerful malignant monsters while navigating this dank system of tunnels. Now, in total, there are 6 dungeons spread across Sanctuary that make up the Malignant Tunnel system. That is not a lot whatsoever. That's, for me, wow, that's kind of disappointing. Now, after putting mobs of malignant monsters down, you'll come across 2 outgrowths. One will always be wrathful, and the other will be a different heart type depending on the dungeon. Using Malignant Invokers, a special item crafted at Corman's Wagon, players can interact with outgrowths of the same type, causing them to summon a fully corrupted enemy. If you can overcome the summoned foe, you'll receive a Malignant Heart, of course, that matches the monster's type. So yeah, now it says confront Varshan the Consumed. This is going to be, of course, the newest boss battle. Now, Varshan weaponizes his hatred in the form of malicious blasts, hurls globs of corruption are far enemies, and stabs and swipes with his meaty tendrils to eviscerate even the hardiest of wanderers. So yeah, he looks pretty threatening for sure. Cannot wait to actually hop into that one, definitely. Now, the article does go on to describe some important bits here about how seasonal characters will work. Let's go ahead and highlight that a little bit as well. Now, something really important to note, that you have to have a brand new character, and you must complete the campaign on either the Eternal or Seasonal realm with at least 1 character to actually get the new quest line. It's kind of considered a sequel, I guess you would say, to what has happened within Sanctuary during the vanilla game. Now, it says the option to skip the campaign is going to be opened up to seasonal characters. Your mount is going to be available immediately. All previously discovered altars of Lilith will be unlocked and the corresponding renown for them. All previously discovered areas of the map will be revealed as well, and the corresponding renown for them as well. Now, once the season has ended, the character you made and its progress will be transferred to the Eternal Realm. All items you collected, including in your seasonal stash, will be transferred to. You can take this character into Sanctuary whenever you please, but season-specific features such as Malignant Hearts will no longer be accessible. Now, starting on July 18th, that's today, we strongly recommend that you log into Diablo 4 with your most progressed Eternal Realm character. Doing so ensures that the progress you made in the campaign and with discovering the map and unlocking Altars of Lilith will carry over from your Eternal Realm character to your new Seasonal Realm character. So, yes, that is extremely important to know. And they have a little bit of a mission statement right here about the release behind this season and so on and so forth. But remember, yeah, this is going to be, according to Blizzard, one of the smaller seasons because they were developing this simultaneously with the actual game. Now that the game is developed and out, they plan to have seasons going forward, like season 2, 3, and so on, much bigger than what we're experiencing with this season. So at least there is that. Because, yeah, 6 dungeons for me, I was hoping for more than that for the actual Malignant Tunnels. Let me know if you agree or not. Curious to see how this all pans out. I am so curious because the backlash today has been horrible from what they have done to the nerfs and the classes. Oh boy. All right, so there it is. Let me know what you make of it. Thanks so much for watching. Stay tuned here for more news and updates about all things Diablo 4, and I will see you all next time. Take care.